Name.com.
Hi, everybody. Um, wow. So this is quite a very interesting topic that I think we as a group, like, we could benefit a lot from talking specifically with my buddy Chris, that I know that he loves sports films. I'm gonna make a rundown here of my top five best sports films, favorite of mine's, right? That I have seen. And this list is quite, when I was thinking about it, it turned into a little bit of more difficult one, just because I was probably not realizing how many great sports films I have liked and seen in the past few years. And, I even forgot about movies such as uh, The Legend of Bagger Vance with Will Smith. Everybody forgot about it. Will Smith, Matt Damon, and Charlize Theron. I remember about that movie, and it's not on my top 10 or anything like that, but I really forgot about that movie. And I really remember that I went to movies to see it. And even though it's a by the book kind of film, and I think it's directed by Robert Redford, I'm not sure. It was a film that was quite, you know, uh, on that. Sports genre. But there are many others, that we can talk about, A League of Their Own. We can talk about um, even the Shaquille O'Neal debut Blue Chip. But anyways, there are many films that you can talk about. There are many, like many people remember Titans, etc., etc. So I'm going to start with my top five. And my top five, number five, it's one film that I saw in 1999. I think between 1999 and the year 2000. I think it came at the beginning of January in Puerto Rico. And I remember I went with my friends to watch it, and this was a high octane and adrenaline rush, injection of just testosterone, in the worst way that you can, possibly ever imagine. Because I am talking about Oliver Stone's Any Given Sunday. Listen, you can say anything about me after saying that this is my number five among so many great films. But honestly, Any Given Sunday is arguably, possibly one of the most, I would say, like, all over the place films. But at the same time, it is a movie of its time, obviously. Um, it's flawed because characters also are very flawed. You don't know who you want to root for because all of them are trash. All of them are just, obviously not good people. However, this is one of those movies that when you're going to root for somebody, you actually feel it and root it. And the way that Oliver Stone shoots this film, it is literally very eye-popping. It is very flashy at the same time, but it's also very stimulating to the eye. Based on the characters and the actors and the cast. And I think it has great monologues, obviously by amazing Al Pacino. I think it's an underrated performance by Al Pacino. But Any Given Sunday for me makes this list because it is a beast of a film. It is a 2 hour and a half film that I love it, and I still do remember the ending of that movie. I think it's amazing how it intercuts with press conference and obviously Al Pacino's character, like what he's doing. I love it. I can't, I love it. My number four film is a 2013 um, car racing, a sports film called Rush. I know that Chris loves this movie as well. I mean, I think that this movie didn't make it higher, and it is probably because of one thing, and it is because I don't think that this is the I don't know. I don't think that Chris Hemsworth was probably the right guy to play that role. However, um, to counter that, Daniel Brühl's performance was snubbed by the Oscars and by the Academy Awards, it doesn't matter because it still holds as one of the best supporting, performances probably of the whole year that year. And at the same time, he just injects this film with so much, no pun intended, fuel and also charisma, and at the same time, a lot of depth to his character. Whoever has seen Rush knows that this has a bombastic, incredible, underrated Hans Zimmer score, and I think this is Ron Howard's best film since, oh God, I don't even know, but it is amazing. I think that the film, it's one that literally takes no prisoners. And I remember that when I watched this film in the theater, there was almost no one in that theater, and I was like having a blast watching this because it was so exciting. And I still don't think, it's one of those things that you can still remember. And when I talk about this film with even friends and colleagues, they don't even know that this film exists. So Rush is my number 4. Now, my number 3, this is kind of tricky. I'm going to share that this number 3, or number 3rd spot, is also, I'm cheating a little bit here because I'm going to talk about 2 movies. I'd rather do it on the 3rd spot than on the 1st spot, because the top spot, it's literally they're fighting. Like, these 2 films are fighting. Ironically, both of these films came on the same year, and I'm talking about the ones that are fighting on the top spot. But number 3, I have 2015's Ryan Coogler's Creed. Listen, you can say that Raging Bull is arguably objectively the best sports film or boxing film, and I get it, and it might probably make my top 10 for sure. But what Creed did was, or what Ryan Coogler did and the team did, was to bring back a franchise that for me was dead, and I don't think that franchise had a pop culture impact as it used to. I'm a huge fan of Rocky's films. I'm a true and always will defend Rocky 4, but I do remember that when Creed came out and it was announced, I was hesitant. I was like, kind of on the fence. But once I saw Fruitvale Station, I realized that we're in good hands. And I would have to say that, Creed has many accolades. I think that Ryan Coogler nailed the drama, nailed the nuances, nailed the complicated and conflicted relationship between, Adonis Creed and Rocky Balboa. But at the same time, I would have to say that what really elevates this film, it's absolutely Sylvester Stallone's performance. Number 1, maybe not a lot of people would expected him to go this far in terms of this performance. But I would have to say that this was incredible. Like, for me, I loved it. I think that he should have won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. No pun intended for that. No disrespect towards Mark Rylance. I think he did a great job, but I think that Mark Rylance would have had more chances to win this, and I think that this was probably Sylvester Stallone's only chance to be awarded. Also, and to be recognized, because this was the role that made him the actor that he is today. My number 2 and number 1, I'm not going to talk a lot about it, but as of today, I would say that my number 2 sports film of all time that I liked, it is Warrior, 2011, Warrior. Starring Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton. If you have seen this movie, you know that this movie, yes, does have cliches. Yes, does speak about the underdogs. Yes, it goes over many different things that we have seen and familiar things that we have seen. But my goodness, this is incredible. This is amazing. This is exciting. This is compelling. Joel Edgerton's probably best performance. Tom Hardy's performance in this movie reminds us like he can transform into anything, but happening in the world of UFC and mixed martial arts. I think that gave it a very, innovative and not nuanced, I would say like genuine like touch to the underdog story. So I loved it. The final minutes of this movie, I will have to say that they still made me cry. So I love it. Last but not least, the number one film, a sports film that I think I have ever seen, belongs to Moneyball, Bennett Miller's Moneyball, starring Brad Pitt, Jonah Hill, and our beloved Philip Seymour Hoffman. I think that this is absolutely a gem of a film. This is a true, work of art in all departments. The dialogue written by Aaron Sorkin, and also in addition to that, I think Aaron Sorkin. In addition to that, it's just how this is so a romantic film about sports, but about baseball, and that romance, it's so beautifully portrayed by Brad Pitt's performance, and I think that this is absolutely his best performance. And on top of that, I think that those who don't understand a lot about baseball, at least through this film, you have the opportunity to see what happens behind the curtain, but above everything else, just amazing stuff that happens because of the amazing script. So Moneyball is my top film right now, sports film of all time. And the reason why we made this list is because we're taking advantage of the Challengers, momentum right now. And I encourage everybody to go and watch Challengers. I think it's great, it's sexy, it's amazing. This is Challengers. I forgot to mention the Challengers is the one who's sharing the third spot with with Creed. Challengers, it's just incredible. Like, if you, whatever you have heard about it, just go and watch it. I will say the Luca Guadagnino's Challengers, it's so nuanced, it's so profound, it's so deep, but it's also so kinetic because it's just a movie, a melodrama. And it is the way that he infused this energy into this film makes this feel like so tense, so thrilling, so exciting, and obviously so sexy. So I forgot to mention that my third film that was tied with Creed was Challengers, and my number two is Warrior. And as a recap, number one film is Moneyball, who I believe it's just amazing. So thank you, everybody.
Thanks for listening. Find our episodes on Spotify and YouTube. Also, follow our Instagram for Filmsake Pod.